Oh, thank you for joining us now. I am Frank Omalape. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has voted to increase the benchmark interest rate by 50% or 50 basis points to 18%. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele disclosed these while reading the communiqué of the second Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the year on Tuesday. Addressing journalists at the end of the two-day meeting in Abuja, Emefiele said the committee voted to keep the asymmetric corridor at 100 and minus 500 basis points around the monetary policy rate. The governor stated that the slight increase is to mitigate the effects of inflation and other economic issues. The monetary policy rate has been on the rise since April 2022, when it was 11.50%. The rate impacts lending and inflation rate, and when jacked up, consequently affects upward movement of prices of goods and services. And away from there now, the federal government has announced the removal of its proposed 5% excise duty on telecommunication services. The government announced that this was in line with the recommendations of a committee, the Presidential Review Committee on Excise Duty in the Digital Economic Sector, which was constituted to review the implementation of excise duty in the telecom sector. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, who is the chairman of the committee, disclosed this on Tuesday at a press briefing. Pantami said President Muhammadu Buhari approved the exemption of the digital economy sector from the 5% excise duty to be paid because of the strength of the argument presented to him by the committee that additional burden on telecom sector will increase the sufferings of Nigerians, and that other sectors that are not making as much contribution to the economy should be challenged to do more and pay the 5% excise duty. According to him, if the tax had been upheld, many businesses, especially macro, small and medium enterprises and SMEs, who depend on the sector for survival, will have felt its impact, and the impact will take a toll on such businesses. Pantami stated that the telecom sector was already paying 41 categories of taxes, levies and charges, and has been contributing hugely to Nigeria's economy. And in the meantime, the National Bureau of Statistics says the average retail price of a litre of the premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, increased by 54.76% from 117 naira 42 kobo in February 2022 to 263 naira 76 kobo in February 2023. It made the declaration in its petrol price watch for February 2023, released in Abuja on Tuesday, where it stated that the February 2023 price of 263.76 kobo represented a 54.76% increase over the price of 117.42 kobo recorded in February last year. It said comparing the average price value with the previous month of January 2023, the average retail price increased by 24.58% from 257 naira 12 kobo. On state profiles analysis, Jigawa paid the highest average retail price of 329 naira 17 kobo per litre, followed by Rivers and Ebonyi at 323 naira 33 kobo and 317 naira 14 kobo respectively. Niger paid the lowest average retail price of 198 naira 50 kobo per litre, followed by Plateau and at 198 naira 71 kobo, and Abuja 200 naira. Analysis of zone show that the Southeast recorded the highest average retail price in February at 306 naira 86 kobo per litre, while the North Central recorded the lowest at 250 naira 1 kobo per litre. The National Directorate of Employment has announced the disbursement of the sum of 1.4 million naira loans to 74 beneficiaries in the Micro Enterprise Enhancement Scheme under the Small Scale Enterprise Department of the Directorate. While addressing the beneficiaries during the flag-off ceremony of the disbursement in Port Harcourt, The Director General of NDE, Abubakar Fikpo, said the loan was meant to expand small businesses, which will in turn have a multiplier effect on the economy. Fikpo, who was represented by the Rivers State Coordinator of NDE, Maureen Okeji, cautioned the beneficiaries that the money was a loan and not a grant, and as such must be repaid to enable others to benefit from the lofty scheme of the federal government. According to him, despite the scarcity of funds, NDE is poised to create jobs through its various schemes and encourage beneficiaries to make judicious use of the loan. The bilateral trade between Nigeria and China has dropped by 37.3 billion naira in 2022 from the previous record in 2021, just as both countries make efforts to improve bilateral relations. The Minister and Counselor for Economic and Commercial Affairs, Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Wang Yingqi, will lead a delegation of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce to the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission in Abuja, noted that the trade record was $290 million in 2022 and $300 million in 2021. According to him, Nigeria and China have maintained a long-standing trade relationship, which is why the visit was important to sort ways of improving bilateral relations. He further said that as a result of the public-private partnership with the federal government and the Lagos state government, the Chinese government has an investment in the Lekki Free Trade Zone. Responding, the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, Saratu Umaru, reiterated the federal government's commitment to ensuring deeper business partnerships with the Chinese government on the investment drive of both countries, adding that it was time for Nigeria to start exporting finished goods to China. The Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has said the Red Line rail project will be ready for use as an alternative means of transportation for Lagosians before the end of his first term in office. The governor gave the assurance on Tuesday while speaking to journalists at Onyigbo in Lagos after an inspection tour of the ongoing Red Line rail project and vehicular overpass bridges at Yaba and Onyigbo train stations. Sanwo-Olu was accompanied on the tour by his deputy, Dr. Bafemi Hamzat, the managing director of the Lagos Area Metropolitan Transport Authority, Abimbola Akinai, and some cabinet members of his administration, while expressing satisfaction with the level of work on the Red Line rail, which is in its first phase from Onyigbo to Agbado. Sanwo-Olu said the state government will intensify efforts to educate and enlighten traders along the right of way of the Red Line rail of the dangers of being there. The governor told journalists that the early resumption of work immediately after the 2023 elections was meant to fulfill the more work promised during the campaign to deliver the Lagos project. He also expressed delight with the peaceful coexistence among various ethnic nationals living in Lagos State, especially in Yaba and Onyigbo, where there are many commercial activities. In continuation of the tradition of regular interactions with major players in the aviation industry since the inception of the Buhari administration, the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, will host aviation stakeholders on Thursday in Abuja. A statement by the Special Assistant to the Minister on Public Affairs, James Odaudu, noted that the idea of the regular meetings had been to ensure that all industry stakeholders were carried along. According to him, the meeting is to enable stakeholders to make input in the development and implementation of programs and policies for the success of the industry. The statement said the Stakeholders Forum, which is the 10th edition, is an interactive section conceived to bring together all relevant industry players to brainstorm on the policies and programs that have and will continue to move the nation's aviation industry forward and set it as one of the best in the global aviation community. I said the forum will assist the Federal Ministry of Aviation and all its agencies to have direct contact with stakeholders in and outside the industry, articulate ideas on the way forward, and brainstorm on the development within the sector as a whole. It is also expected to afford the stakeholders another opportunity to ventilate their opinions on the journey so far and ensure that policies and programs implemented in the aviation industry mirror the expectations of Nigerians and truly lead to the socio-economic and national development of the nation. According to the minister, the forum, which will be declared open by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, will bring together all relevant industry players within and outside the industry.